All right, y'all, time to get personal. How is climate change affecting you, your family, and your daily lives? I mean, does it actually feel like climate change affects your daily life? Or not? I'll bet for lots of you, it just doesn't. Problems on a global scale often lose that super personal connection, and they feel distant and disconnected, like the ocean does for some. It's just that big blue thing out there that always looks the same, right? I mean, how could anything be wrong with it that directly affects me and my family? I mean, you could even think the same thing about the air. So naturally, you start to wonder, why do I really need to care? And why do we need to think about it at all? Well, because, as many are now starting to realize, it does affect all of our daily lives. All right, but before we go deep into the how, a quick recap of important things we've learned so far and need to keep in mind throughout this story. The climate is changing, and our actions like burning and using fossil fuels, deforestation, and intensified agriculture are adding blanket after blanket to the Earth's atmosphere, which is heating us up. Climate change is an interconnected issue. Environmental consequences are mixed with and layered on top of social and racial inequalities. This is not a one solution solves all type of problem. And finally, while there are lots of really positive things happening, nothing's happening fast enough or will do enough individually to achieve the temperature reduction we have to aim for. That being said, I could do a long list of climate change side effects, but let's make it personal and look at some examples by area, starting right here at home in Hawaii. All our summers are getting hotter and more humid, requiring schools to install air conditioning systems they've never needed before. This puts extra mental and physical strain on our kids and costs everyone money. This last summer didn't seem so bad, well, here anyway, and it was probably just a fortunate result of a La Nina year. Our winter rain storm events are more intense and more frequent. I mean, we're getting more rain in shorter periods of time, adding new terminology like rain bombs to our vocabulary, and requiring our friends and neighbors to recover from multiple flood events every year, making them wonder, like, how much more of this can they possibly take before they just have to move? The number of hurricanes that approach our island chain and their intensity has increased. I know it's been a while and last season seemed fairly quiet, but it's only a matter of time until one swings just the right way, avoids the wind shear, and gets us pretty good. As icebergs and glaciers melt, sea level rises. This translates here at home into low-lying neighborhoods seeing regular flooding now, especially when king tides come around. And as the ocean heats up, corals bleach and crumble, leaving few homes and little food for our fish and sea creature citizens. This also leaves less food for us, both now and in the future, and threatens numerous businesses that depend on this environment for their livelihood. Weaker reefs also leave those of us on land with less protection from the aforementioned storms, since coral reefs lessen the wave energy that actually hits the shore. Now, I gotta take a quick sec and dive into the social and racial inequality thing just a bit more here. Mentioning Cancer Alley just isn't enough. This is a really complicated issue. So in a rough nutshell, this means that the facilities that are causing the majority of the climate change and incidentally pollution are mostly located in areas of poor, less educated, and typically racially diverse populations of people. They didn't have the means or the know-how to protest at the time, and perhaps they needed the jobs, but this allowed companies to take advantage of these areas and its people. And this is also probably the source of no one wants anything in their own backyard. And I get it. Hawaii is no exception. I mean, on Oahu, we have one oil refinery, one landfill, and one electric power plant, all located on the side of the island with the highest native Hawaiian population and the lowest average income. The place chosen for our wind farm is again located in a highly locally populated place. And folks in these areas do not receive any of the benefits that the companies do, nor do they have any stewardship rights or a say in what happens around them. I mean, I always wondered why we didn't have more, or even any, recycling facilities or anything along those lines here. I mean, in my mind, they've provided a needed service for the island and good green jobs. But now, I get it. And with that filter, I understand. If you see no personal benefit and lose control of what happens to your homeland, you simply don't want it in your backyard. Good for the greater good or not. And if we want to move forward in any way, communities must be included in the stewardship of a place and its resources, and included in whatever benefits the facility may bring to the area. That's the only way anyone will ever want any of the future solutions we'll need in their communities. All right, enough on that soapbox. Now, I realize these examples leave a lot of locations out, but I'll bet if you think about it, you can think of something that has changed where you live. It may be weather-related, resources may be limited or even unavailable, or you may need resources you've never really needed before. So take just a quick moment and think about it. Now, send me a comment and tell me how climate change has touched your life. All right, everyone, that's all for today. Thanks for diving in. Hit that subscribe button before you leave. Share what you've learned here forward, and I'll see you next time.